One thing that I think is really impressive here, and I'm going to say this, is that Nixxiom has changed games, and he's kept a lot of his audience, which is something that's like really, really uncommon, especially for people on YouTube. On Twitch, it's a lot easier, but on YouTube, it's really difficult to do. This video is really well received.
As many of you guys probably already know,
we watched
Elder
this.
Scrolls Online's newest expansion, Elsweyr, is on the horizon, bringing many new things to the game, such as the Necromancer playable class, the Zone of Elsweyr, the homeland of the Khajiit, and of course, dragons. Lots of dragons, all attacking Tamriel.
You know what? Like, we can balance out cat people with dragons, okay? That's gonna be like a... I can handle that.
Remember Skyrim? Guess what, buddy? They're back.
No,
and guess what? The beta just started, and yours truly managed to get lucky and get for himself a beta invite.
Okay.
So, after downloading the expansion, I booted up the game, I cracked my fingers, I put on some good Necromancer-themed music,
Look at that nice,
and I was ready
nice shirt,
to
dude.
Try out this beta. The following was my adventure over the course of an hour, and
Dude, look at that quality, dude. Look, he's got his mic right there. Look, he just recently, like, cut his hair. I mean, wow. This is impressive. This is like a whole fucking... This is like a commercial. Look at the hair. Well, no, I mean, like, the hair... I'm kind of jealous about Nixxiom because he has a much better hairline than I do. Haircut not good? Yeah, it's a Viking haircut, dude. Don't get mad because you're not man enough to have that haircut. I'm not either, but... you know.
think that you're going to enjoy it. Guys, I skipped the tutorial and I logged straight into Elsweyr.
Hey,
I was dropped into a nasty, sandy, dusty, dirty desert. Immediately, as I looked off into the horizon, I thought of my favorite character from Star Wars, Anakin, and his deep wisdoms about sand.
I don't like sand.
Running up to the nearest quest NPC, I was greeted by a giant talking Khajiit who told me to go to some town in the middle of wherever and speak to some guy that I didn't care about. But forget that guy, man. I'm a necromancer. I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah, that's right.
I put in my points. I selected my starting skills. I threw them on the hotbar, and I was ready to kill everything in my path. And so I did. My first victims were these dodo-looking creatures that were peacefully sleeping under the shade of a tree, trying to avoid the scorching sun. But little did they expect
Cthulhu, the Necromancer,
and his flaming skulls, and his scythe of doom.
What do you guys think about the combat?
I slaughtered them, and I slaughtered them like animals.
I hate them.
And it was glorious. And so I ventured off down the road through the zone, and I took in just how rich and detailed Elsweyr was. No matter where I looked, there was unique looking rock formations, trees, grasses, and everything. Truly, the developers went out of their way to make the zone look amazing, and it did pay off, at least for me. For a nasty sand-filled cat-infested desert, this place was beautiful. Anyway, as I traveled down the road, I encountered...
Okay. Vol'dun looks great. I mean, Vol'dun looks fine, right? I mean, like, this is like, does this really, I mean, like, for WoW, it looks great. I don't care about graphics. There is a baseline where it's like, I don't want to play RuneScape. I don't want to play browser-based 2D games. But for the most part, I don't really care. If the zones are beautiful, that's great. It's like, imagine, like, would you rather buy a house that's a huge, beautiful mansion that you walk inside the house, there's nothing in the house? Or would you rather get a nice, smaller house that's maybe not really as good, but there's $1 million inside of the house? Or let's say there's like a pinball machine or something like that, you know? A bunch of really, really cool shit in the house. You probably want to go to the house where there's a bunch of cool shit inside, okay? Like, don't read too much into the analogy. The point that I'm making here, don't read into it because it's not a good one. That's why. The point that I'm making here is, like, yes, the graphics do matter, but, like, this could be the most beautiful zone in the world, and I wouldn't care if the gameplay wasn't good and the progression system wasn't good.
An even bigger pussy than the one that I had encountered before, and he told me to go talk to a sorcerer lady that he had spied near a cave. So I followed his guidance and I went and found this woman, but not
Okay.
before picking a couple of flowers, of course, because, you know, I have a sensitive side. I saw in the distance the ruins of some ancient building constructed into the cliff
Okay.
face with the Catwoman at its base. She was eager to meet with me because, according to her, she was wanting to venture into the nearby cave to find the lost works of a Khajiit mage, but she was a bit too scared because the cavern was full of undead. And
Yeah, I
that's
can
where I
see
come
why.
in, the brave adventurer. She asked me to enter into the cave instead, see what I could find out about this mage, and report back to her. And naturally me, being the glorious necromancer gentleman that I am, I decided to help this fair cat maiden. I turned and I
lady.
entered into this nearby cave, and it was a delve, I realized. A delve, for those that don't know,
It's a
is pretty
dungeon.
much a single-player dungeon in Elder
Scenario.
Scrolls
Okay.
Online. Complete with mobs to fight, treasures to find, sometimes puzzles to do,
It's a
and even
scenario.
bosses to encounter.
Oh, wow.
And so I entered into this delve.
actually
and
cool.
Wow! You talk about a big delve. This place was huge! And just like all of ESO's other delves, this place was incredibly detailed.
I don't know why Blizzard doesn't do that. That's actually really smart. Like, straight up, I don't know why they don't do that. Like, they could just make these different areas that you could go into as, like, single-player dungeons that you had to, like, clear everything out of. Same as, like, you know, the treasure troves of the Thunder King or something. Like, that's actually really smart. I mean, no more single-player content? Fuck you. There's plenty. That, like, not everything in the game should be group content. Like, classic WoW had a lot of single-player content. Like, they shouldn't... It's not that single-player content or multiplayer content is good or bad. It's that the type of single-player and the type of multiplayer content is good or bad. There is a lot of single-player content that Blizzard has. The reason why WoW was so successful back then was the fact that you could play it as a single-player game, right? It was a huge factor. Like, WoW Classic was infinitely more accessible and more casual-friendly than BFA.
With subtle lore references and structures and it was
This is
incredible.
amazing.
I loved it. I found other players in the delve too who I spoke to briefly, and we even
Like,
helped each other in
almost like a
certain
single-player
rooms to
island.
clear mobs, and that
Hopefully
was a lot
better,
of fun.
but, you know, like that.
Undead after undead fell to my magic as I descended deeper into the Forgotten Caverns, finding incredible looking rooms as I went, filled with
I'm gonna be honest. The combat in this game really doesn't impress me. Like, I've played Black Desert. Black Desert's combat is infinitely better than this. It's not even a comparison. Like, Black Desert's combat, it's 1,000 times better. Like, Black Desert's combat is better than WoW's combat. It's the best MMO combat that I've ever seen. Right? So, like, whenever I look at this, like, I watched my friend play this game over at my house once. Look, dude, I mean, PvP is good, though. I mean, I just... The combat is a big reason why I'm not, like, super excited about it. Okay?
tons of eye candy to enjoy, and as I
Guild
grew
Wars
more
2
powerful
combat?
and I learned some new skills, I eventually started to learn the story of this place. You see, there was this crazy Khajiit mage, driven by grief, and he dabbled a little bit in necromancy, raising his deceased tiger from the grave, as well as one of his friends. Although, according to what I saw, things didn't really go as planned for him because
wonder why.
whenever he brought something back, it was a lot more aggressive than when they were alive. And this is when something funny started to happen to me. You see, I've never really been a fan
Okay.
of Khajiit in the Elder Scrolls universe.
Yeah, they're
big
stupid.
cats, whatever. But in my recent
So
Why
dumb.
I'm Excited for Elsweyr video, I said that, quote, I hope that this expansion does make me a fan of the Khajiit, unquote. And you know what? As I explored further into this place, finding the ruins of old Khajiit architecture, looking at the paintings on the walls and learning about this dabbling in necromancy, I became, dare I say it, immersed. When I found the mage's notes, I read through each and every one of them just to learn more about the story of this place and what happened here. And when I encountered the reanimated friend of the mage and his former tiger, I knew exactly who these NPCs were, what had happened to them, and I felt bad.
That's so good. The fact that he knows what he's gonna fight, like, cause like in the game, it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go over the freehold. What are we gonna do over there? So there's a fat guy at the end. We're gonna kill him. He drops a bird. Oh, why are we gonna kill him? Cause he's fat and he drops a bird. Okay, all right, let's do it, boys. Okay, what are we gonna do after that? Let's go over to King's Rest. Oh, why you want to do that? There's a troll. He drops a raptor. Why are we gonna kill him? Because he's a troll. He drops a raptor. All right, let's go. And that's basically like, I have no, like, why did we go into King's Rest? Like, I genuinely have no idea why we went into King's Rest. The mobs are dead. You just keep them in there. Just don't worry about them. Right? And it's like, yeah, there's a story to it. And that's the problem, right? Is it the way that you tell the story? The way you tell the story. So what Nixxiom is trying to say, right, is that going through this told the story. I don't think that WoW tells a very good story. That doesn't mean that it doesn't have a good story. It means it doesn't tell a good story.
Killing them, you know? Although, I will admit that the feeling of sorrow quickly was...
Sorry, I didn't mean to pause again. I read something in chat. I wanted to respond to it. Nightborn were good, though. Big true. Suramar tells a good story. Suramar absolutely tells a good story. That it's possible for WoW to do it. But most of the time, they fall short.
Replaced by a ooh of glee because the boss, he dropped a piece of a green set that made me better at sneaking, as well as increasing my stamina and magicka recovery. And that is perfect for me because I wanted to be a sneaky thieving necromancer, so hell yeah, baby. Now I entered into the darker halls, killing undead, getting for myself a badass helmet, and I learned from reading another set of notes that I discovered that had nothing to do with the quest. That this place was once the worshipping grounds where followers honored a necromancer-like goddess known as Mafala. Now, who was this person? Why is she described in poetry like she's a giant spider? Was she a Khajiit goddess of death? I don't know.
That's a lot.
I had so many questions and I wanted to learn more, but first, I had to escape this delve and I had to report my findings to the quest lady.
Okay.
Now, she was happy that I survived, and would you look at that, her quest reward just so happened to be another piece of the set that had dropped off of the boss earlier,
all right, that is
making
pretty
my
badass.
character even more powerful. Not to mention all the greens and other cool pieces of gear that I found during the delve. Guys, I felt like a badass, man. Not only did I have some greens, I had new skills like bone armor that made me extra tanky and healing abilities, and I had braved the challenges and the bosses of the delve, and it was just fun. I ran off then, my rewards from the adventure in hand,
Collecting more
and I
butterflies.
encountered a woman nearby who I helped get her stuff back from some bandits. And while I was doing this
Can you see
quest,
her nipples through the
I
shirt?
noticed something on the map. What the hell is that? That's a dragon! A
Wait,
dragon! In Elsweyr! I had to go and fight it, guys. I mounted up on my scary cat monster looking mount, made my way south, and there, having landed at the top of a mountain, was the dragon in all its fury. A few other players showed up and, well, we tried to kill it, but we got absolutely destroyed, so we had to take a step back and plan. People started sharing potions with each other, food for food buffs. I quick slotted a healing ability to my action bar as well as healing potions. We called out for help in the zone chat. I did my best to form a group for us to fight in, and we engaged again. And let me tell you, this dragon fight was incredible. In the beginning, it started with this dragon just on the ground, him blowing fire at us, summoning molten chunks of rock that would explode around him. Then he took to the air, before raining down fire all over the area and explosions, all while summoning giant iron monsters that we had to push back. Holy crap, we weren't gonna last, guys. We were gonna die. This dragon was too powerful, even for all of us, but more players started to show up. Reinforcements from the north, everybody. The dragon landed. I got killed. Again, because I kind of suck. Then the dragon started Fusro-dawing players in front of him, sending them flying back. And yes, I'm not kidding. This dragon was using dragon shouts from Skyrim for the fire spells, the knockbacks, and everything. He took to the air again, raining down more fire, summoning more iron golems. Then he landed. He summoned more fire, more molten rock fragments that exploded, and I died again. But slowly, as more players arrived and as I got better at dodging and self-healing, we whittled down the dragon's health. After about 6 minutes of fighting with all these players, we managed to kill him. But what did he drop?
Where's the loot?
You might be wondering. What did he drop? Well, for me, he dropped a blue ring called the Undertaker's Ring, which would apply a life-stealing effect to any enemy that I hit if I managed to find the other set pieces hidden around the world, as well as making me more powerful in other ways too. And now suddenly, with the introduction of this ring into my inventory, my cogwheels were turning. What if instead of a sneaky thieving necromancer, I was one who used life stealing on my opponents?
Yeah,
and I
like
also
it.
got a backpack too, which contained a player housing furniture recipe, Elsweyr
great.
style of course, and a treasure map that would take me to some epic cache of goodies hidden somewhere in the zone. But after that, guys, that was it. My hour was up. I had made my necromancer. I had met the Khajiit.
That's
I had
badass. You can
descended
do
into
all that in
caves,
an
fought
hour.
undead, learned some lore, learned new necromancer abilities. I started collecting my first set for this character. I rode across the desert. I even got to fight an epic world boss dragon. And how cool was that? I just had a ton of fun playing for even this 1 hour in Elsweyr. And after finishing, all I wanted to do was keep questing, keep reading, keep discovering what was around every corner of the zone, but I don't want to spoil all of this before the official release, so I gotta cut it short. I'm
Okay.
pumped for the new expansion. I've had a ton of fun so far in it. Playing the beta has made the cogwheels in my head turn in so many new ways, especially with what kind of necromancer I want to play as. And guys, I hope that when you get the opportunity to play...
I'm gonna pause right here. Okay. I'm gonna be a negative Nancy. I had the same experience whenever I played on the beta for WoD. Like, because they had like those world bosses and shit up, and I'd get my group together and we'd kill them. Is like, you can do all this and now, because like let's think about like what really 1016. Okay, so is like, this is a completely disorganized group of like clowns, basically. Like, a lot of these people probably are not like the greatest players, right? Maybe Nixxiom's pretty good, but just based off of averages, a lot of these people are not really that good. What differentiates this boss right here from the world bosses in WoW? The mechanics? I mean, it's certainly not the difficulty. I mean, does the health scale with the amount of people that are there? It seems like if you just randomly go into a boss fight and you're able to defeat this boss without really spending a whole lot of time preparing or any voice communication or anything like that, and this is the big challenge of the area, then it's not really much of a challenge. I mean, it's the same thing as world bosses in WoW, right? I mean, am I... I mean, no, I mean, like, to my, 6-minute random fight, like, style over substance. Well, yeah, I mean, like, let's be real. I mean, the style here is fucking awesome. But, like, look, let me show you guys something. Where the hell am I? Asmongold, WoD World Boss. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, look at this right here. All right, this is a video I made 4 years ago. It was a long time ago. Just a second. So this is in beta, and this is before this mob was like rescaled. Look at this guy right here. So this was a giant fucking, this giant monster off the coast of, what do you call it? Off the coast, because we couldn't even aggro him because he was so far away. We were phased in. And this guy, like, obviously, like, max level, and we had, like, hundreds of people ready there. Like, the entire server was there waiting to fight and, like, kill this boss. And, like, let me see if I can get a good picture here and show you guys basically how many people are there. Yeah, look at this. Like, I mean, like, I think that looks really fucking cool, too. Like, let's be real. That's amazing. You have this massive, epic Hydra that you're fighting and kiting around, and there's, like, hundreds of people fighting it and just doing all they can. You know, he does one attack and 40 people die. Like, this was incredible. Like, how can you see something like this? And I think that's at least equivalent to this, right? I mean, in terms of, you know, the level of, like, I don't know, severity of it. And especially, this is a very, very difficult boss. We didn't know what was going to drop or anything. So, like, the same experience that Nixxiom is talking about having, like, we had this specifically in WoD, and it happened. And you've got, well, I mean, no, of course I'm just watching, because I didn't want, I was raid leading. I was telling everybody what to do. So, like, I was telling them, like, where to kite the boss and everything, because I didn't want them to do it wrong. And, you know, like, the thing is that if I had ran down there, I would have died. That's basically why I didn't do anything. And so the entire fight took hours, or not hours, but probably took hours total to, like, kill him. And this is, like, I mean, can anybody really tell me that this isn't fucking badass? Like, to me, this is exactly like this right here, this screenshot, this picture here is exactly what I play the fucking game for. You have a giant outdoor world boss that's incredibly difficult. Nobody knows what he's going to drop. Nobody knows if he's going to get killed or not, right? Nobody has any idea. It looks awesome. And like the not exactly immersive though. I don't know. I feel like that's so subjective. It's hard really to say. Spawners are dragons, not world bosses. They spawn around the map. Oh, I understand that. All I'm saying is like the same feeling that like Nixxiom is getting from this dragon and doing the dragon combat is the feeling that I got from doing this. So I'm just saying that's not really a big selling point, okay? Like I understand what you're saying, but I mean that's just the way that I look at it, okay? Like whenever we killed this boss, it was the best fucking feeling ever. To recapture the mystery in WoW. Well, yeah. I mean, here's what I think they should do. They should add world bosses that take 200 people to kill them. And like have things like this happen, and like they're actually really hard to kill. And like if the server dies, then too bad. That's okay. Like it's better that the server dies than the game dies. Hey, that's the way I see it. I don't know. I just thought this kind of stuff was really fucking cool. Let me finish the video though.
And guys, I hope that when you get the opportunity to play Elsweyr, I hope that you have just as much fun as I did in the beta or after release. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I'll see you with my next one. Thank you for watching or listening. If you want to support the channel by chance, consider becoming a patron, maybe just becoming a YouTube community member to my channel. It helps either way. But guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you with my next Elder Scrolls Online video.
So it's really clear that Nixxiom is super passionate about Elder Scrolls. Let's get that out of the way right now. He is super passionate about the game. I'll link the video in chat. I need to do that more often. So I totally get that he's really passionate about it, but I'm not really seeing this as being like, the dragon is really cool, like all of this is really cool, but I don't like, and here's something that I don't entirely even know what I'm looking for. Like in a game, I don't really know. It was what I had in WoW, and it was part of what I had in like Dark Souls 1. But there's just something about it that's just, maybe Path of Exile for a little while too. You're looking for fun. You're right. I am Nixxiom. I am looking for fun. But how do I define fun? To me, fun is being able to conquer challenges that other people can't conquer. To come together as a team and succeed as a group in ways that individuals could never even imagine to. I want to go into a zone and not even know what's going to happen. I want to see a progression system and look at the top of the ladder and realize that I'm at the bottom, and I want to see every single step that I have to take to get up there. And I want a completely, like, I also want like a sandbox environment too. I don't like how structured BFA is. I'm not a fan of that.